Saparevrakacharya Astotarasata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Das Thakur Ki Jai Principal Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktarinda Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktarinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Gaur. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistambhata Shmata Bhaktivedanta Namaste. English, Deutsch, English. Ja. Ich kann auch beides. Zwei Sprachen kann ich nur übersetzen, hin und her. I can two languages go back and forth. 3 is a little bit more difficult, 4 it gets crazy. So, you know, I can do that if you want translation, but English is okay?
We have no English to Russian translation, so we have to stick to one language.
Okay. Ich kann auch mein altes Sangetan Deutsch rauspacken. So, this is today in the morning. We can read from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the 4th canto, chapter 29, text 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yata Vikriyate Gunakto Vikaroti va Tata Tatho Padrashta Atma Tatvritir Anukaryate Yata Vikriyate Gunakto Vikaroti va Tatha Tatho Padrashta Atma Tatvritir Anukaryate Yata Vikriyate Gunakto Vikaroti va Tata Tatho Padrashta Atma Tatvritir Anukaryate.
Yata vikriyate Gunakto vikaroti va Tatha Tatho Padashtatma Tadvritir Anukaryate.
Yata vipiyate Gunakto
vikaroti va
Tatha vadastratasma
Tatho Padashtatma
Vitri Anukrayate
Tatvritir Anukaryate.
Yata vikriyate Gunakto vikaroti va Tatha Tatho Padrashtatma Tatvritir Anukaryate. Yata vikriyate Gunakto vikaroti va
Gunakto vikaroti va. Tathathopadrashtatma tatvritiranukaryate yata yata just as vikriyate is agitated guna aktaha associated with the modes of nature vikaroti as it does va or tata similarly upadrashta observer atma the soul tat of the intelligence vritti occupations anukaryate imitates. Translation. Formerly it was explained that the queen is one's intelligence. While one is awake or asleep, that intelligence creates different situations. Being influenced by contaminated intelligence, the living entity envisions something and simply imitates the actions and reactions of his intelligence. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The queen of Puranjana is described here in as intelligence itself. Intelligence acts both in the dream state and in the waking state, but it is contaminated by the three modes of material nature. Since the intelligence is contaminated, the living entity is also contaminated. In the conditioned state, the living entity acts according to his contaminated intelligence. Also, he simply remains an observer. He nevertheless acts being forced by a contaminated intelligence, which in reality is a passive agent. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shniyavari Bhashkati Rizatane. Formerly it was explained that the queen is one's intelligence. While one is awake or asleep, that intelligence creates different situations. Being influenced by contaminated intelligence, the living entity envisions something and simply imitates the actions and reactions of his intelligence. So, in this allegorical story of Puranjana, and finally it's explained, you could say in a psychological way, the functions of the subtle body. As we know, thinking, feeling, and willing, these are three departments which actually makes Krishna a person conscious. We all know what consciousness is. We know what we think. We know what we feel. Sometimes we don't know what we want, but we want definitely something. If we wouldn't want something, then we wouldn't actually be inspired to do anything. And here one of the subtle causes of the action is explained, and that's the intelligence. Now, Srila Prabhupada very often didn't make any secret that there is no intelligence actually, really. He used the word rascal and fool quite often. That means actually a person with no proper intelligence. As is described here, the intelligence can be in its pure state and contaminated. What is actually the pure state of intelligence is to discriminate. Intelligence means to discriminate. Sometimes we hear this, it's very popular. You know, I come from the 60s, the hippie generation. It was all one and the same, love and peace. We hear it still today. Whenever I hear this preaching, I get a little bit goosebumps. It's pure Mayavada. All love, all the same, all peace. What is the response of the material energy? Never the same. It's never peace. And it's very difficult to even understand what love is. Because love in a material world is just one side of the coin. And it just flips like this, instantly, into hatred. Yeah. Whenever there are females and males present, I immediately understand. It's so easy to illustrate that. Yeah, love, hatred, love, hatred, love, hatred. It's funny, usually the male part, they go like, oh, that's interesting, I don't know really, what is he talking about? And the female, they know immediately. They know, yeah, love and hatred, yeah, we know that. Because they are much more emotionally aware. Sorry, but men are not very subtle beings, you know. I don't want to get now into this direction, but these are jokes. Females also can have jokes. So they go, you know, if you want to really something simple, then get a man, you know, because they're usually quite simple devices, you know. Men are just usually, I could quote, I was once on Sankirtan not long time ago in Germany, and there were commies selling postcards, you know, just postcards in a paper shop. And there was a postcard in a shopping window. I noticed, I was going, okay, they understand that. The postcard depicted, it was divided in two parts. On the top part was a picture of some kind of recording studio, you know, here the mixing pult, you know, with the, you know, there's a lots of gizmos in a mixing studio, music studio, with needles and buttons. You can adjust the sound and all this. It was very intricate. There was a sign, the woman. And underneath the button part, there was only one button, on, off. And underneath was the man. A little bit like that. You know, material nature designs things like this. Men are basically pulling creatures, and they can be more complicated. Of course, there's the variety everywhere, but mostly it's like that. So intelligence is described here as a queen. It's actually a female thing. I can wonder why. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, women are less intelligent. Where is the intelligence? Now, this is because we have two kinds of intelligence. Material one and spiritual one. And spiritual, both of them have the same function, to discriminate. Therefore, all this Mayavada, hush, oneness, and all this, we are all one and the same. Basically what it means, they try to eliminate any sort of intelligence. It's really for stupid people. You know, you hit somebody, he goes, thank you. And then you praise somebody, he goes, thank you. Because he cannot discriminate, you know. It's the same thing. You know, they have in India, I have lots of gurus coming out like this. You know, what does this Mayavadi gurus do? They all smile. Because it's all one and the same. You know, but actually, they don't live like that at all. Nobody lives like this. We all discriminate. Like example, you can test such a Mayavadi guru very simple. You can tell him, no, I don't think it's all one and the same. And he goes, why not? And he starts to argue with you. And you go, why are you arguing? It's all one and the same. I was once in a program in Berlin. I used to preach in a city of Berlin. I remember the local GBC came by, and he was actually doing the Sunday feast. And that was really very humorous. Berlin is a place, I mean, until today, I think, it's quite crazy, you know. So if you want to go to hell, you don't have to go to hell, you have to go to Berlin. That's, it gives you some preview what hell actually could be. So we had a preaching center there for 2 years with Bhakti Bhushana Maharaj. It was wonderful. It was Actually, we were the only one who could handle that city. That was before Germany was united. So the West Berlin was a place where you go and go crazy. It was known, you know, it was the first punk and the first crazy, and heroin and drugs everywhere, prostitution everywhere. I mean, we had a whole Sunday feast full of this. You know, I don't want to go now and give you a 1 hour lecture about Berlin, but it was crazy. It was really crazy. And I was still a young brahmachari, and you know, Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj was actually still Suchandra Das brahmachari. So we were like two brahmacharis surviving in this hell, you know, which was just, and it was very productive hell. Because out of hell, sometimes the hell has a one function. There's so much pain, it squeezes out the conditioned soul, you know. They come out like from the toothpaste tube, you know, they come out. Sometimes 2 o'clock at night, somebody was scratching on the door of the preaching center. And then I opened the door, and there was one of these completely finished punks, you know, these people with pink sika and all this. He was going, "You have something to eat," you know. And then we were feeding them prasadam 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, like that. And that was a simple preaching, but quite few bhaktas came. Actually, quite few. And Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj, wonderful preacher, you know. He had a very firm way to deal with this, but very discreet. I was more the aggressive part. I was the bodyguard part, you know. That's anyway my nature. So if somebody would make trouble here at the door, just tell me, you know. I know how to remove people. So I'm not professional, but I do it instinctively and naturally, and I'm very happy about that. So it's kind of, people have different natures. So I was like the bodyguard, and Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj was the Brahminical part. He was like preaching, but it was amazing. We got like 13 bhaktas in 1 year joining, because they were all finished, you know. These people were finished, so they had sometimes no other choices to join, you know, because they just were completely finished. So still, there is always intelligence. There is nobody who is that stupid that he cannot discriminate anything. Even the biggest Mayavadi will discriminate. Oh, you are not Mayavadi, I don't like you. Well, why don't you like me? It's all one and the same. I remember our GBC came for a Sunday feast lecture in Berlin, and there was a lady, there was many people like this. What are you talking about here? Good and bad and right and wrong, and are you crazy? It's all one and the same, you know. There's no good really, there's no bad really. It's all one and the same. And he smiled at the lady who was arguing like this after a lecture, publicly. And he said, "Okay, it's one and the same, so give me your wallet with the money." And she was going, "Why should I do that?" He said, "Well, it's all one and the same. Wallet in your pocket, wallet in my pocket. It's all the same. Give me your money." And actually Germans are by nature, they like people to suffer. Sorry. So the audience was enjoying it. They were going, yeah, give him the money. Yeah. It's all one and the same. And she was completely caught by surprise. She was completely embarrassed. She said, "Yeah, okay." And then she actually pulled the wallet out and she gave him the wallet. But inside, when you open the wallet, there was a little department. She had the kind of keys stuck there, you know, from the apartment. And she said, "No, but I need the keys for my apartment." Then he smiled again and he was going, "What apartment? Your apartment, my apartment. It's all one and the same. What's the problem? It's all one and the same." And she was almost crying, you know. And everybody was laughing, having a really good time, you know, like she's losing her keys, you know. That was preaching in Berlin. So finally, when she was really finished, so he just threw the wallet back on her and he said, "You know how stupid it is what you are saying? It's all one and the same. What do you mean? No discrimination, you know." And of course we always discriminate, all the time. We cannot. Even the most stupid person will discriminate. Even a completely alcoholic guy sitting down there on the road, he will go, that's a good bottle, not a good bottle, that bottle is better. You know, yeah? He will go, alcohol good, not alcohol not good. Water not good, alcohol good. You know, this is, he will even in such a state, completely intoxicated, he will still discriminate. He will still, that's the function of intelligence, and it's described here. It doesn't stop even when we are sleeping. Sleeping is actually quite a helpless state. It's always amazing. It's always amazing. That's actually under the direction of false ego. How we wake up in the morning and you go, I'm somebody, I'm here. But just 1 hour ago, we were just completely helpless, you know, at the mercy of material nature lying there. I mean, you go in a place where people sleep, it doesn't emanate really much intellectuality, you know. It's just like, you know, But just few minutes later, we sit here and we Bhagavatam and la 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 la, you know. But then after a while, you know, I can quote again one famous actress who said, when a reporter asked her, how can you look so beautiful all the time? And she smiled and she said, well, you should see me when I wake up in the morning, you know. Very often it's not much beauty there, you know. You know, they have to paint it and brush it and fix it up, you know. And then again, here we are. You know, here I am. It's really so obvious how embarrassed we are by material nature. And the luxury in Krishna consciousness is we can admit that. In the material world you cannot do that. Whenever I fly, you know, on an airplane, it's the whole airport situation. I can just sit in the airport. For me it's really like, I don't need to go in movies. I don't need any cinema. I don't need any internet actually. I just have to sit on the airport and watch. I mean, it's so illusory, it's incredible. It's illusion at its best. People meet each other. They don't. It's all they don't. And didn't you notice whenever you go in an airport, everybody starts to look more important. It's just a building, you know. You know. And when you want to see really grand illusion, you have to look at the stewardess and at the pilot crew, you know. They come with it, you know. The pilot, they look like, I'm the master of the destiny of humanity. And then you have all the stewardess going behind, you know. You think, oh my God, they're just basically serving drinks and taking care of drunk passengers. You know, it's quite a humiliating job actually. And you fly all the time up there, it makes you really sick, you know. And, you know, but they have to look, you know. I like to fly in Russia because they really don't care. In Russia, the stewardess is like 120 kilo, you know. She comes in, she puts the whole airplane. And you go, can I have a little water? And she goes, shut up. You know, that's a Russian stewardess. You know, it's really, you think, I'm in Russia, you know. And when somebody is really too much on an airplane, you know, they stop the airplane, she takes the passengers, she doesn't ask the pilot or police or army. She just takes the passenger out and throws him out in the snow and they keep on flying, you know. It's just Russia, you know. You know. This is some lady from Siberia or whatever, I don't know. You know, they are like pap, you know. Here in the West, it's all total illusion, you know. They are all, yes sir, yeah, la 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 la, you know. But if you would wash the paint a little bit off, you know, and see that lady at home, it's just a lonely, miserable woman. That's all. You know. She comes home, she's just. They have already, sometimes they have a dream, they meet the right passenger, some business class, you know, millionaire flying, you know. It happened actually. It happened actually to the Swedish king. The Swedish king was flying once to Munich and There was some very nice stewardess. She took care of him so nicely and became the queen. You know, I think she knew how to do that, and she became actually quite good queen. She installed the German standard, you know. The king stopped going to the bars, and his fun was over. He was extremely regulated. So, you know, and that because he got a good queen, that's all. Ladies can do immense regulating job, you know. If they know how to do that, it's wonderful, it's actually. Because the men are sometimes, as I described, quite simple creature, you know. First they drink something, then they ask, what was it? You know. He was going, oh, that was good, what was that? That's man logic, you know, that's man intelligent. You know, women are more calculative, they know, not so good here, we go this way, that way, this, so that's actually very good. I had a mother like this. My mother was a very chaste lady. So my father was a famous musician. He could have so much, he could get in so much trouble. All his friends, colleagues were in trouble. I remember that. I grew up only with artists, you know, so it was all people in trouble, basically. My father was never in trouble. He was famous, he was applause, he was, you know, maestro, you know, playing classical music. And then he came home, be in the home, that's all. And that was my mother. She was a simple village girl. But she was so chaste, and she was so, you know, she was, I mean, she had actually complete control on him. I saw it when I was a small child. I was going, whoa, you know. And my father sometimes was just, you know, man can become like this, you know, the false ego bubbles up, you know. My mother was like, how do you regulate man's false, I don't want to go into this, but how do you regulate man's false ego? Well, you ask him if he's not hungry. That's a very simple thing. Because hungry man, that's a dangerous thing, you know. So, you know, so you're hungry? My mother was like that. You're hungry? You want to eat something? My mother was like, yeah, why not? And then after he has eaten, he was really quite pacified and he was quite cool. You know, simple is sometimes much more simple as we think. So intelligence, since we are talking about intelligence, in a spiritual sense, is meant to simplify things, not to complicate things. And this is Srila Prabhupada. He came and he took something so complex, Vedic knowledge, Bhagavatam, Vedas, I mean knowledge about anything. And he simplified it and make it so clear for us what is the most important thing. Even Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita tells Arjuna, don't get carried away by the flowery language of the Vedas. And he is the origin of Vedas. There are so many things to know, so many things to speak about. But the function of intelligence is to simplify things. What is important? And Maya, she is doing the unimportant important, and the important unimportant. She always turns it around. If you want to get really confused, hey, we have a whole internet there. You can just go and see. It's one of the artists from the 50s, 60s, when he was confronted first time with the computer, the machine. His spontaneous comment was, well, this machine will answer all the questions you never asked. And that's generally what internet is doing. It's always informing you about so many things which you absolutely don't need to know. This is so annoying about these machines, you know. They are constantly pumping on you something you didn't ask about. Do you know? Do you want this? You could. Maybe. Look at it. You know. It's so abusive. And as a devotee, you feel really abused. You think, I don't want to know this. Do I have to know what's going on in the world? You know what? I don't. In the Vedic times, any sort of advertisement, news broadcast and everything was heavily restricted. Why? Because basically in the material world is only bad news. You don't get much of a good news. So what does bad news do? they create anxiety, they create fear, emotionally, just, you know. Demons know that, and they like that. They are constantly creating this anxiety. And even actually when you look around, in Krishna conscious way, Krishna gave, Krishna goes, I will give, you know, he gives even when people are not asking him, he's giving anyway. When you look around, we have what we need. Krishna can supply. If we don't, then it's a result of sinful activity. That's the most important part. How to stop being sinful and create bad karma. You know. So that's Vedic education. Education first deals with this problem. Yeah. Then, that's not the end. How do you then, in that state of pious life, how do you then proceed to something spiritual? Pious doesn't mean spiritual yet. It means just a kind of regulated, you could call it normal life. Anything outside of that is absurd. It's crazy. Actually, today I would like to ask Prabhupada one question. Srila Prabhupada, you said so many times that this is not a human society we are living in, this is an animal society. I know why you said that, because it's basically concerned with eating, sleeping, mating and defending. That's animal life. But I would take it today as an offense towards the animals. This is worse like animal society. Much worse. Because animal society is regulated. You know, all animals are regulated in one way. By material nature, by the instincts, by the super soul, which is present. Krishna is present even in the heart of a pig. And pig is a quite regulated creature, you know. You can control pig even. You know, by food, you know. And pigs don't imitate, you know, pigs don't imitate monkeys, and monkeys don't imitate, monkeys can imitate a lot, but usually they don't imitate lions or tigers. So there's no hypocrisy amongst animals. Everybody is what he is, okay? I'm a lion, I will eat you. That's normal for a lion, you know? Yeah, there are animals who are more close affiliated with humans by karma. It's quite amazing actually. It's listed in Bhagavatam. You know, horses, camels, cats, dogs, they are domesticated, the domestic animals also. So they are more affiliated. Like dogs, they relate very often to humans much more as to other dogs. Other dogs, yeah, you know. But humans, yeah, that's an interesting thing, you know. Why? It's a completely different species. Because this is the karma, like that. And dog is, why do people like so much dogs? They are not hypocrites. They like to eat, they want to eat, yeah. They want to have sex, they have sex, yeah. They want to sleep. The dogs, when there's nothing going on here, it's boring, they go to sleep, okay. They don't try to pretend, you know. Now there are vain dogs too, I know that. I don't want to give lecture about dogs, but you know, but they are, you know, and they are very aware who is important here, and they always want to make sure that they are important, you know, things like that. But it's childish. Why people like children also? Children are basically quite honest. They are, you know, they are honestly narcissistic. They are honestly selfish, you know, and they do it in such an honest and beautiful way. People think this is cute. This is very nice. You know, it's heavy to say that, but just imagine you would take a grown-up person, come into your house acting like your child. I think you will call police. There's somebody came in my house, he's eating everything here, he's messing up the whole place, and then he sleeps here. You know, such a guest is probably not very welcome. But because it's a child, we go, oh, this is nice, he ate everything, you know, oh, he messed it up so nicely, oh, you know, yeah, you know. Because children have the right to do that, they're actually children. And they are, you know, supposed to be loved, they attract. Did you notice how Krishna arranged that everything in an infant state. It's very small size down and very round, very cute. Dogs and puppies and everything. If there's a grown-up dog, people go, there's a dog. If the puppy, they go, oh. It's a natural instinct because it's actually, they need this. They need to be taken care of. That's so amazing how you observe how material nature works. You know, as a devotee, you become a little bit more and more of an observer. Actually, I know the stories of so many devotees joining this movement. This is very, very similar. Devotees are very similar people when they, I mean, there are very extreme personalities amongst them, but generally the attitude towards the material world is always the same. They think like, what is this? Where did I end up in? So what kind of place is this? They feel like estranged. And they are just observing, what are they doing here? Is it real? I mean, I have a daughter, you know, I was there when she was born. She had that look on her face when she was born. I was shocked. I had in my hand just few minutes, you know, manifested baby. And that baby looked at me like, not again, you know, come on. There was an expression in the eyes of an angry, frustrated old man, you know, going, not again. That's amazing. I was going, what kind of baby is going to be theirs? No. Then in a few minutes the illusion came and it was like normal baby. Baby was just for a few minutes. It was a very interesting moment. You got a glimpse of a past lifetime. It was very interesting to see this. Wow! And even today she's 25 years old, but she still has this attitude. Yeah? Is it real? Huh? It's very difficult for a girl especially to have that kind of consciousness, you know. Not easy. Some man comes and goes, you are so beautiful, and you go, oh, is it for real? Maybe just another crook coming around. It's not easy, you know, to live like that. Because you need a certain grade of illusion to do certain things. If we would be all fully Krishna conscious, completely, or we would probably not do many things what we are doing, or we would be not inspired even to do many things we are doing. Everybody would be basically, you know, brahmachari and sannyasi and, you know, bye-bye, you know, what do you want me to do? I'm speaking about real brahmacharis and real sannyasis. That's the kind of people who don't feel even the impetus to, what? I know few. I'm very much admiring such devotees because I don't work in that category, but it's quite amazing to see that. This is devotees, you put the temptation straight in front of their face and they go, what shall I do with it? I asked one of my godbrothers who I highly admire, who's a real sannyasi. He always calls me and he goes, well, you know, and he's a guru, he has a female disciples too. And, you know, and he goes, they come with all kind, what do I know? I'm sannyasi, you know, I can quote Shastra here, that I can do. But when they come with, especially Grihastha, they come with this, I feel that I think, that she thinks, that she feels. And why does she feel that I think? Because I don't think that she feels. You know, it's an endless game. You can go endlessly like that. This is a Grihastha, you know, think. So she feels that he thinks, but he, you know, why does he understand that she thinks how she feels, that he thinks, and they feel and they think and they want. And they want that I think, that I feel. Why does he want that I feel, that I think? Because I don't want that I think, that I feel like that. It's endless. It's a mess, you know. So when the gurus get it and served out, you know, like this, Maharaj, what shall I do? He doesn't feel that I think, that I think, that I feel. And what shall he do with that? So my godbrother calls me and goes, what shall I do with that? And he has a mantra for that, you know. He always goes, I don't know, go to Manidhara. And I go, who is this? You know, I don't even know these people. You know? But basically, yeah, I know the things which cannot be solved, okay? The things that to be simply tolerated. So what? It's changing all the time anyway. You know, yeah. One of the older grihastas, they know what I'm talking about. One of my friends, the older grihasta, he's a very solid grihasta. He's married for 35 years, I think 40 years of marriage. You know, that tells you something. If somebody can endure this. So, but sometimes he also still gets desperate, you know. Why is my wife not understanding that she doesn't listen anymore? I cannot say anything. So he told me, I just shared a little bit with Kami, you know, friend, not a friend, it's just affiliated, it was a calm mechanism. And he looked at him, he knew. So he said, and your wife is like that. Take it easy, take it easy. Go out, smoke a cigarette, take it easy. And he said, well, you know, I'm Hare Krishna, I don't smoke many cigarettes. Then he looked at me and said, well, then you are very misfortunate. That was his logic. Well, but we don't smoke cigarettes. We just go and chant Hare Krishna. It helps really. And wait. The modes of nature will rearrange. It will change. Sometimes it's like, no, it cannot change. This is crazy. Even that can change. I can testify from my own life. Things do change. You just have to wait sometimes. And that's difficult. Especially for people who are not exactly Brahminical and they have not the nature to wait. They want to solve the problem. I mean, how many times? I always go into this, I don't know why, but how many times I spoke to a man who goes, you know, why is my wife upset when I want to help? You know, she comes with a problem. I go, okay, that's a problem. We are going to work on it. We have to solve the problem. And then she gets even more upset. This is crazy. From a man's point of view, I want to help. There's a problem. We have to solve the problem. I told him, yeah, I know that. I did that mistake for 25 or 30 years myself. I'm the problem guy, you know. So I like chaos, I like panic. I'm not evoking it, but when it comes, oh, I get alive. If somebody comes right now running in the door, you know, there's a fire up there, fire! I get completely, okay, now we have something to do. You know, I'm kind of the chaos problem guy. I like that. It gives me something to do. But not all people are like that, and sometimes the ladies, it's just a little bit for the man, don't do anything, just listen. Oh, that's bad. You know, very bad, yeah, this is, just listen, don't do anything. And then they stop and they go, thank you. And they think you did something, but you didn't do anything. It's amazing. Because they just want to put it out, that's all. I saw a guru acting like this. Mataji, because I have this function sometimes, I have to play furniture, you know, because the sannyasis are very strict. They will not have a darshan with the Mataji alone in a room. So they call me always, come here, sit here, just sit here. You know, and I just play furniture. I just pretend I don't hear anything, but I do hear things, of course. It's very educational. It's very educational. You get lots of things to hear, you know. And especially that godbrother of mine, he's known as completely false concept. He's known as being the sannyasi, brahmachari, jump, heavy. Not at all. This is one of the softest person I met in my life, you know. It's ridiculous. And he has grihastha disciples, he has, you know, and they know that. So, you know, and of course he has female disciples too, so, you know, and I was in such a session, he called me to play furniture again. So I was just sitting there, you know, and this Mataji was just crying and all this, and then he just listened. Then he smiled and he said, Krishna will help you, it will be okay. And she was like, thank you. And she came out completely, And I look at him, when she went out, I was going, you didn't say anything. And he said, sometimes it's better just to listen. And just show some empathy. That's, difficult for a man to understand that. Because most men are just like the construction people, Okay, this came down, we have to put it up again, like this. This is a man, where's the tools, and here we go. But it doesn't work always like that. So anyway, I don't get into it. All these, in a subtle way, are the workings of intelligence, actually. So the intelligence, we have to be very careful with that. The intelligence is actually inspiring, initiating things. But Prabhupada makes a very clear point at the end. Actually, at the end, it's a passive agent. Why? Because even that intelligence is controlled by the three modes of material nature. Intelligence in itself, it doesn't have really a life on its own. It simply responds to a more subtle platform, which is there. It's thinking, feeling, and willing, desire. And this is the most difficult part. We don't even know how many desires. It's all in the heart, Intelligence is just the brain and the mind, and it's just a mechanism. It's just a switchboard, Right, wrong, that's good. But the whole mechanism is actually provoked and put into action by desire. This is the most difficult part. And we know, Prabhupada always quoted the story from Manidhara Thakur, who, even in his state of renunciation, because he was habituated to females. It's a habituation. There are men who are just like addicted, They have to have some female around, and they get inspiration from that. Watch out for such a man. They are like junkies, they are addicted. It's not very impersonal actually. They are not concerned with you. They are concerned just with that energy of sex. That's all. Sex is actually essentially quite an impersonal saying. It's just an impulse. Prabhupada gives an example. It's itching, scratching, itching, scratching. Not like, it doesn't really sound very personal, Something itching or scratching. And all this blah, 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 blah around love and love and love around that. Even as a kami, I never used one word, love. I was a teenager, I was a young boy, and some people like to hear that. Do you love me? I could never say yes. I was going, maybe. That's a bad answer. It's a wrong answer, So I was very restricted with women naturally because I was afraid of them. When you don't have Krishna consciousness, especially, it's very few. It was two things I really avoided. It's women and drugs. For the same reason. Very intoxicating. Extremely intoxicating. So you can go completely crazy on these things and it's addictive. So that's in a material sense. So without Krishna consciousness, everybody is addicted somewhat to something. And it's based on desire. Addiction is actually just uncontrolled flow of desires constantly. The desire is just tormenting you. This is what we are working on in Krishna consciousness. This is exactly what happens when you start to chant Hare Krishna. And when you start to practice and you surrender to a spiritual master, your desire will change. It will not stop. There are people who know this problem. Desire, 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 so much problem. I want to kill it. No desire. I have such a strong desire to have no desire. This kind of doesn't sound very logical, you know. What do you mean? If you have no desire, then don't desire anything. Even to stop desire, don't desire anything, nothing. Impossible. It's impossible. Because the desire is a part of consciousness. So whoever is conscious, wherever the soul is present, there will be a desire. You cannot avoid it. So the Prabhupada, he actually showed us how beautifully, how to actually purify desire. And how you realize you purify the desire, that the old desire, even it's registered, you know, intellectually, it doesn't tell you anything. You don't feel the impulse to respond to it. I can quote my friend Sannyasi. He's very much in India, preaching mostly in India. So he said, it happened to me in India. One night I woke up and there was a woman in my room, standing next to my bed. I was going, wow, what did you do? And he said, I jumped up, I knocked out and I ran out into the night. Many men wouldn't do that. You know, that's where you see, even in the presence of such a temptation, the response is very clear. Prabhupada once, in the middle of the Pandal program, he called Tamal Krishna, he was standing next to him, he was going, you know what is the difference between me and you? And Tamal was like, of course, you are pure devotee. And I was like, no. I can give lecture to 1,000 naked women. You cannot do that. That's a sannyas talk, like that. That's in the presence of temptation. No response. Yeah, okay. It doesn't tell you really anything. Even actually the mind and the intelligence go, hey, the senses go, nice. It doesn't mean still anything to you. Sometimes devotees think that actually purification means to stop things, to cut them down. I don't see, I don't feel, I don't think, I don't want. I'm pure devotee. That's not our process at all. Tyaga, or negation, that comes only around in a most ferocious way as bhoga. That means enjoyment. It comes, and that explains the fall downs. You know, they must be there because the more you pressurize, the more material nature will answer to you. And Krishna consciousness is such a wonderful thing. For everything there is regulation. For everything there is an alternative to purify the desire. Yeah. We have even our ashramas are designed like that. You know, yeah. I was lucky, I joined, I was 18 years old, you know. So that was very simple. I had only one girlfriend and she was going, it's going to be the monks or me. And I was going, oh, the monks are more long-term, you know, scenario. That was the end of it. And then I joined the temple. It was just a wild gang of brahmacharis and brahmacharinis, which were totally separated. Brahmacharinis, that was like from another universe. They lived on the next floor. I never saw them really much. And the brahmacharis, it was so intense. It was just maybe 15 brahmacharis. Everybody going on Sankirtan, everybody going on book distribution. So I was like, it was so radical for me because that was not my lifestyle. Most of the devotees those days joining, they were heavy people, you know. They came from the street. They lived on the street before they joined already. So for them to go out on Sankirtan was like, what's the big deal, you know? Yeah. I never met a policeman before I joined this Hare Krishna movement, you know. After that, I met many policemen. Police stations became like my second home. So, you know, and I joined a crew of people which were like half terroristic, half militaristic, half anarchistic, you know, very heavy people. And some of them were already in jail before they joined, and they were 22 years old, you know. It was like, whoa. It was heavy. Germany, you know, especially. And I'm not born in Germany, so I was a kind of exotic appearance. I'm coming from a Slavian country, and the Germans at that time, 1972, they didn't know what to do with that. The Buddhist looked at me and was going, what kind of guy is this? I was a soft, introverted artist who was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And they were all like, what are you doing? I'm going, well, I have to chant, meditate. He said, no, work. That's the German meditation. German meditation, you work. You know, follow the leader, those days. You know, yeah? Work. Chanting you can do before you die. But, you know, work. And I was like, okay. I was pushed, whipped, 24 hours a day. You know, like, go, get up, walk, do, take on try. Everybody ran out. So I had to run too, you know. And I ended up in a completely bizarre situation. It's exactly opposite what I used to do. I hated people, you know. I didn't like people. And I was with people all day. Selling somebody something on the street, that was the last thing I could actually imagine I can do. Approach somebody, hello, bitte schön, you know. Yeah, this was revolutionary for me. How do you do that? You know, therefore I can very well understand when people go out on book distribution and they're shaky, because actually it's we are coming from a society of introverts. We were all breeded and raised to be a very demons like that. Everybody in his apartment, sitting there, you know, on a computer, have 5,000 friends on Facebook. He knows nobody. You know, demons like to separate people and divide and control. They don't like people to come together spontaneously because it becomes uncontrollable for them. So, you know, but to speak of having some traditional values and values which they don't, then are not very useful to them. So that's why demons try to destroy this all the time. In India it's a little bit better, but even in India I found a big problem. There's so many, they are everywhere. And they push each other like, you know, like back and forth. But actually, go to somebody and give him a book on the street, that's also for them sometimes difficult. So, okay, now I have to become a preacher. Okay, I'm a preacher. You know, in India, when Prabhupada came first time to India with devotees, he said, there will be no book distribution here. Devotees were shocked. He said, going on the street distributing books in India, it's like begging. And begging is not very respectable at that time. You know, that was viewed like that. And then I was first time in India in 1978. There was a big problem. There were many people who couldn't even read. So you offer them a book and they go, Acha, Bhagavad Gita. And then they give it back to you because they cannot read. You know, so it was very difficult. So now India changed so much in this regard for the better, because you have the middle class coming, educated people, they can read. And the book distribution on the street is not anymore the begging, you know, business. It's become very established actually, and they produce amazing results, you know, amazing. But still, I heard that they want, I was supposed to be around this time in India, that they should come over and you have just to go out with the boys. They are nice, they have many brahmacharis, it's a wonderful thing in India going on. But to go on a street and this pushy thing, they are a little bit shy because they are like, yeah, excuse me sir, please. Well, that's not the Sankirtan, you know. And me, coming from being trained in Germany, you are not much afraid of anything. I mean, I'm sorry, but afraid of what? I had people pointing guns on me on the street, so what? I put my small finger into the gun of the man like this. I told him, so what will you do now? Huh? The man was shocked. He pulled a gun on me and I blocked it with a small finger. It's a crazy idea. So, he just started to laugh and he put the gun away. He thought this was a really amazing joke. In Germany, my God, we learned even, I remember, I could tell you stories day and night. Stuttgart, I remember that policeman, young policeman coming. We knew police so well. We knew who is new, who is old, and where the real demon is sitting. We knew that. So this was a young police bhakta, just with the first day on service, with the head, and stop, stop. He stopped me in Stuttgart, stop. Ausweis? You have to identify yourself. And I thought, oh, this is too much. It was just going quite nicely, distribution. So I was just going, this is too much. This young guy, what does he want? So I said, do you have a passport? Do you have an ID card? And he said, I don't need any ID card. I'm police, you see, uniform here. And I said, well, how do I know still you are police? My mother is a dressmaker. She can sew a uniform like this in a few hours. I mean, the guy got so confused, this young guy. He pulled his police ID card, on me. So instead of he controlling my ID card, I controlled his ID card. And I took the ID card, I looked at it, he said, this is you on the photo? Doesn't look like that, This is, he was so, no German will do that, okay? So he was like, but this is a stamp here, Deutsche Polizei, here. And I turned, stamp? Come on. If I take a potato, cut it in half and carve something inside, I can make a stamp any I want. This is a fake, this is not real. And he gave it the police, the ID card back. He got so confused. Then he looked at me and said, I have a gun. And I looked at his gun and I said, it's a water pistol, it's not even real, And he was so confused. He said, okay, you stand here. I have a colleague waiting in a car around the corner. I will call the colleague so he can confirm I'm police, okay? Yeah. And I said, yeah, sure. Then he went around the corner. In a few minutes, we left the town with all the Sankirtan parties. They never found us again. So it's like, that was my German Sankirtan, It's like, I don't know. I mean, when you are living on the street for 15, 20 years, there's not much which can actually really surprise you, Yeah. It's repeating the same stories, the same people. It's actually, it's quite boring. They go, Christmas, Christmas. Who invented Christmas? Nobody knows. Who started this whole nonsense? Christmas. I mean, they try to import it even to India. It's ridiculous. Christmas tree in Delhi, What is Christmas tree doing in Delhi? It's crazy. When they put the Durga statue there or whatever, I can understand. But Christmas tree, what is Christmas tree doing in Delhi? It's Christmas. Come on, it's 25 degrees plus, Where's the snow? Nothing. And then they have to spray, some chemical snow on it. So it looks like Christmas. And all the Indians, Christmas, What do you mean by Christmas? They have no idea what Christmas is. And the Christians not either. There's nothing in the Bible about Christmas tree, It's not like Jesus is saying, whoever worships a Christmas tree is my disciple. Not at all. Where's the Christmas tree in the Bible? Sorry. But they are Jesus, Christmas, shopping, that's the real thing. Yeah. It's all, and it becomes more like really like an illusory show. So it's very interesting to read Bhagavatam and see how it works in reality. It's all end up, even the intelligence is described here as a passive agent ultimately. It's only vibrating on the impulse from the three modes of material nature. It's only functionable due to the presence of the soul, which again is only functionable due to Krishna's presence. And there we come to the real point. What is the origin of all these things? Where does it come from? This is interesting. They have even a Chinese proverb for this, that the real intelligence means to see things in their origin, not the effect. All the people around us and this whole material world functions by confusion, because people, they only respond to the effect. Oh, there's something moving here. This is how I mean, it's like a little kitten, you know, a little cat. You put a piece of paper on a string and you go, and the cat will immediately be fascinated. You know, you'll never ask where the string came from or what are you actually doing. The cat immediately responds to the movement. A dog, he will respond to the sound immediately. He doesn't even know who is coming. There will be some sound, he goes. And look at the people, same thing. Some agitation, somebody started something, and they go, faster, faster, you know. We have to go on holiday, What do you do on holiday? They don't know. They sit there just, now we are on holiday. What are you supposed to do? No, you are supposed to enjoy. And what do you enjoy here? Especially because they do it all at once, the same time. It becomes hell. We ever travel down to Croatia on holiday times? It's hell. But they think they come back and they go, it's a very nice holiday. I was on the beach, you know. There's a photo here. Selfie. There was 5,000 other people on the beach too, you know. And that's hell. You know. At least like in India, people when they congregate, they seem to be kind of enjoying it. They're like, you know, I got a film footage from a train, Delhi Calcutta, night train. It was called the Sleeper. The Sleeper. There was nobody sleeping. Not one single person. The devotees recorded it, and underneath he wrote 2:30 in the morning. That is a sleeper, you expect that you will sleep. I mean, there was it was overfilled, so they overbooked the whole train or whatever. People were stepping on each other in layers like this. And they were, and nobody was sleeping the whole night. I know, I always wondered in India, when do people sleep here? Because even at night there's a sound. There's always some sound. Some dog, you know. It's always like that. Here you go out at night, you know, it's dead. Nothing. It's just everybody died. You know. But in India it's always like. And they seem to like it, but you have to be Indian to like it. When we would put the same amount of Western people together, they will kill each other. You know, they will kill each other. And they do regularly on these festivals, and they come together and they get drunk and the violence comes out. In India, it's just really amazing. They are like, pushing, me also pushing, you know, we're all pushing here, you know. Yeah, you know. Yeah, God gave us a place to be, so why not? I mean, you have your place, I have my place. We push, you know, like that. You know? So, this is a sign of piety. And you're pious. The more pious you are, the less space you need. I come now from Sweden, you know. There's one person that needs at least 3 kilometers area. There's nobody there. It's silent. Nobody. When they meet each other, and they do. And actually, mostly it's the females, they are always the social part. The men are always like, that's all. You know, women are just, even in such an empty place. But still, very rarely, It's ghastly. If you want to really see what nothing and nobody means, there's always somebody, but not in a human form. But but they have to go to the north. It's ghastly. They want no preaching really. What do you want to preach? Even the languages, linguistic science is quite interesting. It will tell you something. When you listen just to the sound people produce. I speak like 5-6 languages, but I can reproduce it. And whenever I speak that language, I feel like almost like the mentality. When I speak German, I feel like, I am the younger brother of Mr. Hitler, because the language is just. Prabhupada was like that. He had a very linguistic observation. He said, German is very good language. You can speak it to the dogs. Yeah, because it's commands. Sit. Was. Bop. Bam. Bam. When I hear German poetry, it sounds to me like a manual to a washing machine. Ersten Punkt muss man anfassen und abschrauben. The language is already designed. It's very precise. If you want to describe something, German is the best. They describe everything so precise, there's no mistake. But if you want to have many words and lots of feelings, well, you have to start to speak some Slavian language. Russian, Czech. Czech is the language of cynics. They will make a joke about you, you will not even notice. They are champions of deadly humor. They can really, and they think this is nice. When you describe somebody in a very cunning way, what kind of idiot he is, he thinks, oh, that's very nice. This is very interesting. They like it. When you come to Russia, it's all about, Then comes the Russian depression, They can sit there and cry out their sadness forever. This is a very country or something. I can give you a tour around these things. But it's expression of consciousness. And consciousness means, once again, intelligence, thinking, feeling, and willing. So we are all motivated by that. So our goal is to purify this, not to stop this, not at all. I mean, you really reach it in a Charitamrita. What an emotional treat that is. Vaishnavas meeting each other, crying, embracing each other. It's such exchanges. It's really intense. And you can say, well, but this is all Maya. No, this is all spiritual ecstasy, but in a purified form. So feeling, desires, intelligence, thinking, feeling and willing is all there, but we are trying to purify it. Means all in Krishna's service. There are some questions or points to this. I can go for a long time. I have no problem. Usually the temple president comes up, there's some service devotees have to do or something, But there's so much to say, so much to discover in Krishna consciousness. It's endless. It's so amazing. They ask me sometimes, how long do you chant? I'm going, 50 years. They go, oh. They go, not what? It's just like I started yesterday. It's wherever I open Bhagavatam, I go, wow. It's an endless discovery. It never stops. This is the beautiful thing about Krishna consciousness. It really, if you get the point from Srila Prabhupada, it never gets boring. It's amazing. And also, in practical sense, It's so amazing to travel around and discover devotees. You know, they're specific people, devotees. They are very special. You know, just the fact that they have this impulse to serve Krishna. And they are very individual. I mean, I never met such an individualistic, chaotic club of people like devotees, you know. They ask me always, how is this movement managed? And I go, well, I can give you the official version, but the reality is very different. This movement is managed by Lord Chaitanya or Krishna himself, otherwise who else could manage this? It's all because we are individual persons, all here voluntarily. How do you manage a voluntary crew of people? Anybody can say, well, this is enough, I'm going now, bye-bye. Anybody can do that. In a karmic world, we have contracts. And also, people are very obliged, you know, to work. If you don't work, then no money, you know, and then you will suffer. It's all about that. In Krishna consciousness, no money, no name and fame. In the material world, there's a big motivation, you know, how to become famous. Haha. You try this in Krishna consciousness, not very rewarding. Try to become famous. How do you become famous? Yeah, you become very charismatic. And there are people who will go, wow, he didn't say anything, that must be very deep. You know, there are people like that, they get impressed. Well, for how long? Not for long. This personal cult business, you know, this, come, blessing. You don't say anything, nobody knows who you are. This doesn't last for long. Devotees usually, they quickly discover who is that guy. They know. And they, especially more intelligent devotees, there are also varieties, they discover, yeah, okay, but... And the older they get, the worse it gets. We are quite aging movement, I have to say, when I travel around. I see the same devotees getting older and older. And they all sit there going, looking at you like, so what are you going to say, huh? Because they heard everything 1,000 times. You know, not so easy sometimes, you know. It's just like, oh, sorry, I don't have anything new, really. It's Bhagavatam, you know, it's Bhagavad Gita. And they go, yeah, well, you know, I heard that. Okay, we heard that. But did we really do that? That's the interesting part. And then you discover there's endless way how to apply Krishna consciousness to your life now. When you see the scriptures like this, with the desire to apply it in your life, then suddenly you find a whole range of very up-to-date information. Good Shastra can address anybody in any kind of situation. It's so amazing when you know how to get to it, and when you also get a proper guidance, you know, then it's very easy, and then it becomes very interesting. Hey, like I met on the street a man. He was going, yeah, I know Bhagavad Gita, I know, but you know, my problems are a bit somewhere else. And I could immediately see this was a very troubled family man. I told him, no, you didn't understand Bhagavad Gita. This is a perfect book to teach you how to have a perfect family life. And he was like, what has this to do with that? For him it was like a big, you know, mystical book. I told him, no, it's very practical, Bhagavad Gita, for family life. Just imagine, you understand, you are not this body. Wow. Your wife is not this body either. And you understand how these bodies get manipulated by nature. We know that. They do. Yeah. Latest then when you have to go to the toilet or you are hungry, you understand that this body is manipulated by material nature. You know that. And he was like, okay. So just imagine all the agitation you experience, all the frustrations are coming just from the body. What a wonderful family life you could have. Agitated wife, it's changing all the time. I mean, how many times I heard wife telling to the husband in the morning, he's the biggest idiot, on the planet. And in the evening they go, what will I do without you? In one day, 24 hours change. Come on, just take it easy, It's all coming, going, feelings, this and that. So actually, to realize I'm not this body and to remember that teaches you automatically to be tolerant. And it's wonderful. So, and then you understand it's all temporary. You understand it's actually, there are more important things in life as right now the problem we have. There's always some problem. Today morning, problem, You have to solve the problem. Managers, they are all the time like this. There's a problem, yeah. And devotees come, there's a problem. Yeah, but that problem was there yesterday too. And it was there so many times. And it will be there again, okay? So shall we flip out just over the problem right now, here? Which doesn't invite some negligence. We have to deal with problems, yes, but in a detached way. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching us detachment. It's wonderful. When you are detached, you become more peaceful. You don't expect things to happen which you cannot really control anyway. And it can come to a point like Srila Prabhupada. He, just to give an example, he acted as a responsible grihastha to the maximum degree, but it was completely evident at the end that this doesn't work. So why should I always go back to this? It is not workable. This doesn't really work. And then there was an option. Spiritual master told him, he has a mission. So then you focus rather on that. It's a really rational consideration. If you do something all the time and you get only trouble out of it and it doesn't really work, then why should you do it over and over again? Then don't do it. Go for the for the higher alternative. Practical things. All this we can learn from Bhagavad Gita alone. So it's very practical. We just, how to connect this wonderful knowledge Prabhupada gave us to our lives, that's actually the challenge. We are not supposed to be here just some academic, students, professors, students, yes. And then what? What is our life? You go into the academic community, it's full of completely miserable people. Why? Because they learn something, it's not relevant to their lives. They don't know how to even apply it in a practical way. What you do with that. Prabhupada was very pragmatic. He showed us, this is Krishna consciousness, that's how you apply it in your life, that's what you do with it, and look at the result. You become happy. Not really happy. The Dasa can judge actually. Prabhupada said you can judge your progress in Krishna consciousness by the amount of happiness, satisfaction you feel, and absence of fear. There's no one afraid of what? Sankirtan devotees, they are like that. They look sometimes very reckless and very daring. Why? Because they have no fear. Now there is concern. That's another thing. Concern. Well, maybe I may fall down. Maybe Maya will get me. That's a valid concern. Maya is so powerful. She can do anything with you. I mean, she can. I don't want to go in detail what Maya can do, but she can really. She's amazing. But again, why should we be always afraid of Maya when we have the protection from Srila Prabhupada, we have the protection from our spiritual master, we have the Shastra, we have so many shelters we can take, and such a scope of mercy is there. From a Vedic, strictly Vedic point of view, who is actually qualified to become Krishna conscious? The rules and regulations when you go into the Shastra for becoming spiritually successful, they are so heavy. It's so heavy that you could get discouraged, really. But by Prabhupada's mercy, he made it so accessible to us. It's really by his mercy. Otherwise, you would have no chance. No chance for us, really. By his mercy, we can. And Prabhupada was very encouraging. He was treating us like devotees even before we acted like devotees. I saw it personally. Oh my God, the Prabhupada was just incredible. In Germany, I just give an example at the end. We had all kinds of people joining. From my generation, lots of drugs going around, all this. So what do you expect? Who is going to come? So, I had in a Sankirtan van all kinds of people. Sometimes a new bhakta came, the Tamil president told me, take him on Sankirtan and don't bring him back. we had names for them, Bhakta Frankenstein and things like that. You know, very specific people. And you cannot imagine what I experienced by taking these people out on the street. I saw miracles happening. Amazing. Bhakta Frankenstein, I remember him. He was a big guy. He looked so horrifying. People were just running away just by seeing him. His way of action was like, the devotees actually, in those days the preaching was heavy. You come and stay with us, stay here, shave up, stay here. You know, that was the preaching. But in his case, they were going, well, you know, you can practice Krishna consciousness at home, you know, and he was going. They tried with 2 men to throw him on the street. He came back. You know. So they called me again and they're going, get him on Sankirtan, don't bring him back. So I had him in a car. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So I put him on the street and I told him, hey listen, this is a magazines here. So you give it like that. I made some introductory, you know, Sankirtan introduction. He was going, then he turned around and he went with the magazine. To the next day he was going, and then she was going, I was going, you're supposed to distribute this magazines, not kill people with that, you know? Okay. So he tried a little bit softer, you know? But just by seeing him, and then he said, what shall I say? What shall I say? I said, why just say this is a nice magazine and please give a little donation, we are monks or whatever, something simple. And he forgot even that. So he said, I forgot everything. And I said, well, if you forget everything, just chant Hare Krishna. And that he didn't forget. So I saw an old lady standing there with a magazine on the street, and he was like, he forgot everything. So then he was going, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And the lady looked at him and was going, what are you doing? And he was going, I'm praying, so you take the magazine. Then the lady was going, oh, then I have to take it. She was a kind of pious lady. In 1 week, the man chanted quite normally. Later on became one of the leading or foremost German Sankirtan devotees. Oh, we had a whole collection of this. We had one, he couldn't even chant. Hare, Hare, Hare. So again they called me, take him on Sankirtan, don't bring him back. Because, you know, he was standing in a temple, people came, you know, for a Sunday feast. In times where you read in the newspaper, when you join the Hare Krishna, you get brainwashed. And then I saw a guy standing there. Well, you know, another good advertisement, you know. So I took him out. He was far. He was, by the end of the week, he was chanting normal Hare Krishna mantra. And later on he became one of the pujaris in Simhachalam in German form. I mean, I saw just amazing things happening, you know, in Krishna consciousness. So highly damaged people from the karma like that. And what Krishna can do when you get the mercy. Now from Krishna's point of view, we are all people, you know. Come on. How must Krishna see us? Sometimes I think, wow, how we have to look from his point of view. We are here just chanting, you know, our rounds. And Krishna was thinking, oh, now they are again glorifying my holy name, you know. Just imagine you have a name, somebody will chant your name like this, you know. Hari mani 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 da 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 mani mani mani. Go, what are you doing? Go, I'm chanting Manidhara. So just imagine how Krishna, how merciful he must be, you know, how tolerant he is. It's good to remember sometimes these things that we don't get a little bit too, you know, excited over our performance in Krishna consciousness. It's not really. Let's stay down to the floor and let's become a happy people. There's a chance for everybody. Prabhupada really provided we try to be ourselves, try to be who we are and not who we think we should be. And don't worry, Krishna will see it. And then if Krishna considers us qualified, we can go back to Godhead even. Prabhupada promised that. He really was bold. Oh, we had one called Urangama. He was a kleptoman. He was stealing everything all the time. And he distributed on Sankirtan in a shopping house. And it's very difficult to do, you know. Nowadays they have cameras, those days there was no cameras. And he came out of the shopping house in the evening, his bags were full, you know. And the man stole everything he could. There was no way to stop it. And I told him, but he distributed books simultaneously in the shopping house. He distributed the books, and then he filled his bags with this stolen stuff from the shopping house. And I mean, to him, I could only preach, Urangama, can you steal us in something reasonable at least? What are you going to do with a lady in nylon socks? And he said, well, this is my size, I can wear it. And he did wear it. So, you know, it was this kind of people, you know. I saw the same devotee in Prabhupada's presence. When Prabhupada gave a lecture in Germany, he was, after the lecture, of course, the only one who asked question was Urangama. Everybody was going, oh no, Urangama is asking a question. And he was going, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can we offer the honey from forest bees to Krishna? I mean, what a question, you know. Honey from forest bees. He was not even farmer, he knew nothing about it. But somehow or other, you know, he got this in his head. Prabhupada, can we offer honey from forest bees to Krishna? Prabhupada looked at him completely seriously from the Vyasa-sama, looked in his eyes, and he was going, yes, why not? The man exploded. He felt so understood. It was not about the honey and the bees. He felt so understood. He felt so recognized. He felt so encouraged. Finally, first time somebody was not thinking, I'm a crazy man. You know, somebody recognized me as a person. I mean, he was beaming. On Monday, he distributed double as many books. That's how Prabhupada preached. But he had the power to do that. He could take a madman and just do the best, take the best out of him. That's how this movement was started, you know. And that's the essence, actually, how we are functioning until today. It's really a question only how far we have become useful in Prabhupada's mission or how not. That's where the key to our